The world's oil exporters for the past 2 years and counting have consistently failed to meet their commitments on how much crude to pump out of the ground. The expanded global oil cartel known as OPEC Plus agrees on how much each member should produce every month. But since May of 2020, the group has fallen more than 500 million barrels short of its commitments to its clients around the world. They were behind during the height of the pandemic when the group was slashing its output. And more recently, they've continued to outperform even as demand for their product grows. That's contributed to the current shortage in markets that's been exacerbated by sanctions on Russia, the world's second leading producer of crude. Now, for more on the story, let's go to Han Tan, Chief Market Analyst at the Exinity Group in Abu Dhabi. Welcome back to the program, Han. Now, why is OPEC and its allies having such a hard time increasing their output when there is so much demand for it?
Indeed. So I think what we're seeing now are the results of years of underinvestment and also more recently supply disruptions due to political unrest for the likes of Libya, for example, right? And with the resilience, on the other hand, in the global demand side, it's caught suppliers off guard. So all that's being laid bare in the markets right now, hence the elevated oil prices, while noting the challenges that OPEC Plus faces in meeting its collective output targets.
So there is a meeting by OPEC Plus today, and they're expected to announce a new level of output increase. Should we even take them seriously at this point, or are all their statements should be taken with a giant grain of salt?
Yeah, well, to be clear, I think the statements from today's meeting in particular, that's been well telegraphed. And so markets are expecting that front loading of those output hikes, right? But I think the challenges will be what comes after, whether they have to strike a new deal, and given the sensitivities within the OPEC Plus alliance, and also noting the supply demand outlook for the world, all that has to be taken into account. But I think to be clear, OPEC Plus still has the potential to move markets and prices, but I think the key focus right now really remains on the Russian production targets and also the supply constraints around the world, especially as we head into the upcoming winter season.
So two of the group's major members, the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they say that they're already close to their maximum capacity. So where else can we get some extra supply of crude to meet the demand in the global economy?
Short term, not much in the way of substitutes, or at least immediate substitutes. Of course, Iran is an obvious candidate, but given the stop-start nature of the negotiations of the nuclear talks, means that markets aren't really pinning too much hopes on Iran, at least for the short term. Granted, longer term, we note Saudi Arabia's pledge, for example, to raise its output capacity by 1 million barrels up to 13 million. But that first batch may not be in play until 2024 at the earliest, right? So again, I think supply constraints remain the name of the game, at least for the near term.
All right, Han Tan at the Exinity Group in Abu Dhabi. Always good to have you on.
My pleasure.